Hi, Dr. Eric Westman here with another episode of Learn with Dr. Westman. Today's episode is 5 signs you're eating too much sugar. First, let's get some definitions out of the way. Sugar, and I'm not going to be technical, is it lactose, is it sucrose, is it glucose? Lump all the sugars together and let's call them sugar. But I'm going to define starches as just sugars all linked together. So starches get digested to sugar, and then the term that encompasses both sugars and starches is called carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are starches and sugars, and because starches get digested to sugars, carbohydrates get absorbed and raise the blood sugar. Technically it's the glucose, but I'll just say blood sugar, and that elicits an insulin response to keep the blood sugar down, and that's why carbohydrates are the fattening foods, because they raise the blood sugar, and raising the blood sugar raises the insulin, and insulin is the fattening hormone. So that's when I talk about sugar, I'm talking about sugars and starches, and you could have bread or pasta or rice, all that gets digested to sugar and raises the blood sugar. Many people are using these monitors to see the effect of these foods on their own body. Trust me, the blood sugar will go up. So what's the number or top 5 things that you're having too much sugar? You're craving sugar. So let's say you're craving, it could be, remember, it could be candy, it could be pasta, it could be rice, it could be bread. You're craving sugar. Well, that's a sign you're having too much sugar. So have it less often, break that cycle. If you're craving sugar, you're having too much sugar. Now, very similar to that is if you can't stop eating sugar, then you're having too much sugar. Now that's a little different than just craving it. You're actually having it, and then you can't stop eating it. For example, my problem food that I am very careful to not have around very often is peanut M&Ms. So a candy where you can't stop, I can't stop eating that candy. There's no break. And so if I'm faced with a bag, 2 bags, it doesn't matter how big the bag is, I will be eating that food until the bag is gone. So that is a sign that you're eating too much sugar if you can't moderate and you can't stop. It's not a universal thing. Some people can eat 2 M&Ms and stop. I can't, and I understand that. So I just have to be very careful. So one behavioral strategy is you just don't let yourself be around that sugar or pasta or rice or bread. That it's all sugar. Another reason that you know you're eating too much sugar is that you're now getting into the medical issues, is that your weight is out of control. The control knob on weight is actually sugar and carbohydrate in the diet, not fat, not calories. It's the sugar amount, because when you raise the blood sugar, the body doesn't like the blood sugar to be elevated. It sends out a hormone called insulin. Insulin brings the blood sugar down, but insulin is also the fattening hormone. So it's actually the carbohydrates that are fattening, not the fat. And so you want to get the carbohydrates in check, in control. So if your weight is not in control, that's a sign that you're eating too much sugar. Now, continuing into the medical world, and this is why a medical doctor like me, I'm an internist, I'm an obesity medicine specialist, why we talk about sugar in terms of health is that if you have pre-diabetes, you are having too much sugar. And so pre-diabetes is measured typically at a doctor's office. If the doctor says that you have pre-diabetes, it's time to get a handle on the sugar. You're having too much sugar. Now, the final thing, which is definitely a sign of too much sugar, is if you've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is an elevation of blood sugar all day long, and often you're put on medications to manage the diabetes. Well, the good news is you can reverse type 2 diabetes by getting a handle on the carbohydrates. So if you have type 2 diabetes, you're having too much sugar, the good news is that you can reverse the type 2 diabetes in almost every instance. That's what I do in my practice. I take people off carbohydrates, reverse the diabetes, and take people off medication safely. So if you're on medicine for diabetes, don't do this on your own without medical supervision unless you understand how to reduce these medications. But all too often I see people with type 2 diabetes think they are unable to not have sugar when actually it's the sugar that's causing the type 2 diabetes. These are 5 signs that you're eating too much sugar. I hope that's helpful. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Check out our class on sugar and food addiction at the Adapt Your Life Academy. Get on the waiting list if you can. Also, see the description below for a link to my latest free guide. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and check out adaptyourlifeacademy.com.